Good day. Welcome to my channel, Ching with Mary. I am clairvoyant, claircognate, clairaudient. Been that way all my life. Though I've had a lot of health problems that sort of lagged me behind from being able to be me and be out there. Literally living on a pill that keeps me alive. So it's my life. One foot in the grave and one foot here. This house is busy all the time. It seems like only I or Richie are home, but there's a whole lot more happening here all the time. Very active. So I hope you had a good Easter. I've been trying to do this video for a while. Partially blind I am, and it's a little difficult to do all this stuff. You know, I used to be technical, but you know how that goes when you've been out of it for a while. It's like you were outdated. So I wanted to talk about, I didn't have anything to talk about, honestly, for a while. I've been like battling one thing after another, and also what I'm seeing and what I try to get people, hoping people would, you know, catch up to where I'm at, has been extremely frustrating, to where, like, I was hating a lot. Like, I was hating on things I don't normally do. I was very angry, and not just about people waking up, but just about what I'm seeing. And then my guides came to me one day and they said, "You gotta do a video. Like, it's time for you to get out there and do a video." I'm like, I have nothing to give. What do I? Look at me. I'm a mess. You know, and they're like, "Oh no, you're gonna have something." I'm like, okay. Well, I trust in you. Let's see what happens. And then as time was going on, you know, I work with like how I know to go out and tell somebody. A lot of the time when we get a lot of insight, like a intuition, or we get a dream, you'll know because, well, for one, my consciousness is so awake in the dream, like, so I can tell, like, when it's a dream versus a message. My consciousness is so awake, you know. That's how I know. But my intuition, when I get stuff, you know, I'm talking with the universe, so I'm waiting for the universe to come tell me exactly what I saw. And, you know, I'm not looking for it, you know, it happens to come up. Or somebody will come up, or something that, you know, reflects exactly what I've seen. Then I know this I can go forward with. And so I came upon this show called The Green Jar by Scott Wolter. It's not W-A-R, not W-A-L-T-E-R, but W-O-R-L-T-E-R. W-O-L-T-E-R. So he's a geographist. I can't even say that right. He's really highly intelligent with history. He's very highly, you know, looked upon by his peers, and he's really come to some revelations, like real big ones. I wasn't expecting that. First part was all about, you know, the King's Templar and how the King's Templar came over here, and they with the 8 ships of gold when they had that disease over there in Europe, and they, you know, the church was after him, and so, you know, the Native Americans they became friends with here, and they, you know, protected their gold and silver for seems like forever, and they ended up staying there because it's like, this is nice. We're getting along here. Why don't we just stay here? And so they did. And the bloodline of the King's Templar is in our Native American. Here, that's pretty cool. I've always loved my Native Americans. All my life I've been some way or another mixed with them. They're, the way they raise and think and teach is along with how I feel. And so very, to me, they are gems in the world. And I love and respect them highly. So whenever I do like fundraisers or whatever, they're involved. Gotta get them involved because I love them, and I want our children to be raised with them like I was. So in this green jar was so towards the end he was like given a guy called him up and gave him a hint, like where like to go. Like he was an archaeologist who was out in the New York, I think it was, out somewhere in New York, and where this forest. I haven't been there yet, so I don't know. I've been to New York, so I don't know. I mean, I've been in New York City, but not outside of it. So he's like, oh, how can be anything out there? I don't know if this is really, it's, a real sign to go. So I don't know. Then he eventually is like, well, come on, buddy. Like, we want to go out there and check it out. And so they went out there and they started finding things one after another. But the one thing they found was a green jar. And inside this green jar was an autobiography from Jesus. Now, I've known Jesus because we met Jesus at an art gallery, believe it or not, through it came. And basically, I went there to go see her. She was here, and I really loved her painting. So she came to our town, and so I went there, and I thought, let's bring your kids, when they come tomorrow, let's come, she's going to bring more, paintings. Let's come back. It doesn't cost much, let's go. So we did, and as the kids were going around and everything, I decided to go take off and look for the new ones. And I was really interested in the one where he was in the clouds and writing his new life and the new history of our world. And I really picked up a lot of stuff off that painting. And as I was going around, all of a sudden, like, I got this zzz around here. What? Looking around. I noticed that the manager over there, like, caught my attention. Like, he was looking at me. Like, what did just watch me. I thought that was sort of weird. And I looked ahead, and there was this man's picture, so I walked forward to it, and lo and behold, it was Jesus. I said, oh my gosh. Jesus just touched me. So I went over, like, to my mate. I said, when you get to this side of the room, I didn't want to taint it. When you get to the side of the room, anything, whatever you feel, just anything, let me know. So I'm in the middle of the room, and I'm waiting for him, and, and I'm looking at the beautiful paintings, just gorgeous paintings. Just stunning, stunning one of Mother Mary, just to die for. Oh my God, it was so beautiful in cobalt blue. Oh my, oh Lord, if any of us could ever afford that kind of stuff, to be, anyhow. So he gets over there and he's like, oh my God, I got hugged. And I was like, oh, is that what it was? I was all excited. Meanwhile, this guy's watching, like, he's really watching. This is pretty much when that painting got stolen from her, and she didn't get it back for 20 years. But from there, it's like I was very ill, you see, and so he was constantly coming to me and helping me with my illness, because there was times I was like, oh man, just leave, and then I'll just take care of it, I don't want to live this way. This is not a way to live, and the doctors can't figure it out. It's been how many years, how much money? It's like, this is ridiculous. And but he started, like, helping me through it. He's sort of like, whenever it got real bad, he'd call me into my consciousness, and everything would get dark. There'd be a little light, and you go to this. This is a part of an energy healing too. When you get overstressed, try to find yourself into this dark space, darken it, and look for that little piece of light, and then zero in on that light, and try to focus on what is it trying to show you. So anyways, as I was focusing on that light, I was, all of a sudden, I could feel my feet on rocks and stumbling onto rocks. And I looked down, and I had a little dress on, and I had these boots on. And the first thought I thought was like, why am I wearing boots with this dress? This is not right. So he's like, Mary, follow me. So I walked out, and he just, tell me what you see. And I would tell him what I see. I saw a mountain, I saw a stream, I saw the sun starting to go down, and the flowers. And so he said, follow me, tell me what you see. And I would continue all the way through. And as the sun was going down, so was me, and I was going out. By the time the sun, boop, I'm out. But he would also channel through me too, to my mate. And at first we were sort of confused by it, and I was almost embarrassed by it because I could hear it, and it wasn't really me, but it was like coming out. I wasn't sure what was happening. And One was very long. It was a lot of different parts, but one was very long. Like I'm a carpenter and I'm coming back from the field. I was retired and now I'm looking for my people. And it was just like it was very long, right? And then one day when we were, I just felt like something was up. And we had to go to the library, and it was like fiery energy, and we were getting along. And I was like, "Come on, we got to go. I don't care. Stay away from me," kind of deal. But we're going. And as we went, we had to take two buses. The second bus, in between, this man walked up, and we were standing apart, mind you, and he started talking the lines exactly of what I said, and it shut both of us up. And he looked at me like, "Come here! Oh my God, come here!" So I was already on the way because I was hearing it. And by the time we were on the bus, we were like a whole different perception. Was like, "Oh wow, Jesus is here. Something's happening." And sure enough, it was his from an ex-family, passed away and by suicide, and the kids were freaking out. His kids were freaking out, and we cried all the way home. Shut two buses up. I tell you what. Oh, but he was always there to let me know that he was there. That everything we'll get over this. And I found through time that every bad situation, there's something good out of it. Doesn't matter what it is, and I eventually could see it. So anyways, and back to the green jar. So my long relationship with him, this will give you a little bit of a nutshell. So when we were there, so the green jar, excuse me, we almost went back to the art gallery. Hello, I'm here. So the green jar was an autobiography. And in this autobiography, he talks about, he knows that his blood, excuse me, is half human. And, God dang it, I can never remember the name. But you'll have to watch it, okay? I don't want to give too much away. But he's coming. He is coming real soon. He timed this so there was like a boom, diddy boom, diddy boom. There was no bursts, you know what I mean? It's consecutive. And so I was like, oh my gosh, how is in the world? Oh, the mother. Oh my. I hope. Oh, during this time. Oh man. And I know it's not the lion. He's integrated with both sides. He has all abilities. He's extremely intelligent, and he's about peace and love. That's really what he is. But when people are being in their hatred and anger and over people and over what they're doing, this is where he draws the line. Stay in your lane. Give people a chance. That's sort of been my motto, but I got lost a little bit. As I was watching the show, I was very familiar with this because I've done it before with energy work. I felt something pulling out of my heart, and I knew it was all, because it hurt bad. It was all the anger that I had. He was pulling it out of me as I was happy and elated. I was open, so he was like pulling it out of me. And I was like, wow, I didn't even realize how much I was like growing this hatred, and so I gotta digest it and change my perception. But it was elating. The whole thing was elating. And then I started getting visitors. Well, we were getting visitors before. I just didn't. It's usually how this works with us anyway. We got ghosts, who does it belong to? Where's it, it takes a while to sort of get all the information and then align to what we can do to help that person or the people. Yeah. Anyhow, we had both Richie and I had an alien come through, and I was even asking it to come through, but I thought when it did come through, I thought it was something darker or somebody who was wanting to mess with me, and I was like in no mood. This is sacred bedroom, don't come in our bedroom, and etc. I have like certain rules I have, which I ended up shooing that thing away, but when it left, it came between us, and it was so bright that with our eyes closed, I saw it because I coming up, And so I opened my eyes, and I just, wow, man, that I had to close my eyes. It was so bright, and I could see it through it. Both Richie and I could see it through our closed eyes. It was so bright, and it went right through us, through the headboard and out. And I went, well, that was not what I thought it was. Oh. So I know that there's a bunch of interdimensional beings, and there is the water aliens. They're sort of bluish. They are, all of them are preparing, even some, so I have one of my guides he looks like a giant, okay? He's got really curly hair. In fact, it looks like gray hair that's on fire, but cool fire, not hot fire. And he's a very big guy, because one time when I was helping a disabled person and he was going in the wrong direction, his angels came to my guide and he blew me up by his leg, and his thigh was so big. Oh my God. That's when I knew he was really a giant. Sitting in a cave on a rock. And outside the cave was crying angels. You did not want to hear crying angels. No, you don't. And then I was able to help this person get on the right track. And yeah, that was quite interesting. So there's a lot of beings that are waking up. Their heartbeats are strong. We have archangels all over the place, up in the sky, particularly working with alien species. There's one of those, I just cannot think right now because I've been just trying. I'm having difficulties doing this video. This is my second time. And I've been running around the house trying to do things, get prepared. And I just can't like say the name. It starts with an A, but I'm having a hard time here. So like they're all getting prepared, and I lost myself for a second there. I'm so sorry. Anyhow, I wanted to do an Ching about it because I want to know what they have to say. What do they want to tell us? What is it? So this is what I said. What do the beings I see and know of have to say about Jesus' return to us all? The action is inner trust. The hidden influences that nourish your vision and nurture. The underlying cause, small exceeding, conserve. Yes, we're going to go through some hard times. It's time to conserve. Get your gardens ready. Yeah? One of the things I want to say is Jesus says that there's going to be a clone of him. So, and there's going to be a lot of false gurus that are going to be revealed. Jesus was not happy with God was not happy with the churches because they were messing up his message, and so he wasn't happy. So he's revealing a lot of false prophets and a lot of false gurus. But there's going to be one particular that's going to pretend he's Jesus. And one thing great about it, we know him personally, so a clone won't know me. So we'll know the difference. I'm sure I'll see him just because when he hugged me, it was like a longtime friend that hasn't seen me in a long time. And everything I knew when I was young and everybody tried to convince me it was different, it was true. All of it was true, and I thought everything I said as a child came true, you know? And I let people try to deter what I believed in. It really frustrated me. Like, oh, why? Why do we do that? Why do we have to go shove our opinion in everybody? Shush up, stay in your lane. Oh my. We are really getting bad. Oh. So, here's the reading here. Connect your inner and outer goals, release people from fear, impose real directions, beware of judgment, one-sided policies, personal greed. Trust in honesty and clear communication. Focus on true ideals and common good. If you're getting involved in anything big in your life and you're not being authentic now, it's going to come back real bad. You've got to be authentic during these times. that horse, if you're like treating being mean and so like the fire horse, from Chinese astrology, gonna kick you in the head. There is so many sudden things happening where a lot of people I know were sort of trying to get on track, but then they went off track and then they got kicked in the head and now they're back on track. Literally. No big moves either. Holy Moses, this is not a time for big moves. Because just prepare yourself. I've been talking for years about getting your gardens. I saw it like a long time ago. My visions have no time frame. None. And so it could mean down the years, down the road. And so now is the garden time. You better get it. Direct farmers. Farmers are not playing with corporations anymore. So get to know your farms and where they're at and go through the farms because there's not going to be much in the store eventually. It's going to hit us hard, so get prepared. Lord have mercy. I'm really worried for everyone. The one thing that I loved about this here on was the image. Listen to this. Really resolved my worry for the mother. The old character shows an arrow at the center of a target and the claws of the bird spirit protecting her child and grasping her prey. She's going to be a strong woman. She's going to know what she does. She knows her intuition. She knows what to do. That made me feel good. I love that. Circle of meanings. Connect inner and outer. Connect your life to the spirit. Sincere, truthful, reliable, verified, a heart of peace, a stable point that lets you face the vicissitudes of life. Incubate, hatch, inner self, reflection now lets you acquire a place where you can influence the world where you live in. The heart theme is clearing the channels. This is what the beings want us to believe in through about Jesus. I love this. It's because it's inner trust. To trust it. It's happening. It's happening soon too. So get out there and find out what's going so we can celebrate his birth. Because I'm celebrating it. Very excited. I want you all to go look for it. I'm not going to give you too much. The immediate future is do not be lured into compulsive actions. Now, I'm having a little bit of a problem myself with that compulsive action. Got myself in trouble with my doctor. Yeah. Got to be careful of whatever compulsive problem you might have. No deflecting, no projecting to other people. They don't need to hear it or be hurt by it. Everybody's hurting already, okay? Lord have mercy. Personal develop, connect your inner and outer lives. Working with the family, seek harmony in the truth of the heart. Expanding the circle, create understanding around for growth and partnership. Share openly with each other and unite in the truth of heart. I only got one line. It was number 5. There are 6 lines in a hexagram. There's 64 hexagrams, so 6 times 6 to 64, a lot. So many different things can roll out when you roll it out. So I can't go and poop, 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 poop. No, don't work that way. Yeah, I don't have that kind of focus. No. Line 5. There are times when we must hold our inner truth regardless of the ramifications. However, in understanding and honoring another's point of view, we can make concessions or decrease our need to be right in a way that brings union. While we may not agree, we can agree to move forward to learn about synthesis. In this situation, there may be no concrete answers, except the parting or retreating is not a satisfying option. Meaning get out there. And this is a time to not do nothing. If you're trying the same old to get things happening, it ain't gonna work. You have to be outside the box. You gotta do something new. Fire Horse is not gonna let you do that. Nope. He's done with the old ways. And so that's why we're seeing a lot of crazy stuff right now that we haven't seen for a while, because that's what that's what it's all about, waking us up. And to get things moving in the right direction. Yeah? It's about speeding through and getting it for us people, not for, other people. Decrease the idea of right and wrong, and be accepting of others. When a leader is right with themselves, things will get done without giving orders. When they are not right with themselves, they may give orders, but they will not be obeyed. The inner truth links all things together. Once we go through this hexagram, thank you from Cafe AU Soul. They're the ones that I go to get my reading. Be still, lessen the power of the ego, and the misfortune will be avoided. We say it again, be still, lessen the power of the ego, and misfortune will be avoided. It is a fact. This is where hexagram 41 is. This is what we're going into. And it's going to be hard for a lot of people, especially our single mothers, our seniors, everyone who's in a vulnerable space. We must try to help out or work together. It's going to get very difficult for a bit. So let me start this over. It is a fact of life that times of decrease comes upon us. Our resources are limited. Difficulty surrounds us, and our egos generate angry, unhappy emotions. Nonetheless, such times are good for us. If we respond to them by quieting our egos and turning sincerely to the higher power for help, we emerge from the period of decrease stronger and healthier and wiser. When we discover that we are unable to achieve our goals, our egos becomes infuriated. When we are tempted to harden into anger and bitterness, to lash out, to desperately and aggressively grab for control over the situation. If we do this, however, we will only push our own salvation further away. The I Ching counsels a withdrawal into stillness. The image is that of a spring reverting to an inside of the mountain during this time of drought. And our water is going to be a problem. We have to be careful about these data centers. I got 123 that all of a sudden popped up in Oregon, and a lot of them the Republicans who got made money, and then they try to buy businesses and say that they were low. Oh, they're only worth this much, but they're worth this much. Yeah. So we're trying to deal with it right now, but be aware. We got to work on this. We have to stand up about it and talk about it, because we'll be paying the utility bills and we can't go any further. And our water, oh my God, it scares me when I see. I'm a little bit befuddled. I don't like that. By returning to its quiet center during the time of decrease, it avoids evaporating and exhausting itself in vain. You would be wise to follow this example. To try to force progress by arguing, manipulating, or making excuses will only bring your downfall. Instead, disengage from your inferior elements, however passionately they may seek expression, and turn to the sage for guidance and assistance. The sage is the one that takes care of everything, the plants, the animals, it cares for everyone around them. That's what we need to be. That's what we came here to be. That's how we're supposed to be. But we got really messed up in buying. They sure made us a good little consumers, didn't they? The hexagram sun issues a call to sacrifice negative feelings, accept the powerlessness of the ego against the currents of life, and return to contemplation of the principles of the sage. In stillness, meditation, we enrich the higher parts of ourselves and thus bring an end to the time of decrease. So how do you like these sudden surprises? How many have got them? There really are something. Getting a few of ourselves, thank goodness they're not really big, but because we're pretty, we try to keep ourselves in check, and we do a lot of the things that we need to be doing. We also, if you're really stressed out and so on, there are tinctures out there for anxiety, Anxiety Soother by Herb Farm, PHARM. And then meditate. Meditation is great. It's really a wonderful thing. One of the things on that video I found that is so compelling is that he talks about the vibe. Surround yourself with the right vibe. So you notice, like, concerts, for instance, is a good expression. Beethoven, for instance, we'll start with there. In classicals, he knew how to soothe the monsters, because you cannot have negative feelings underneath that classical music at all. Try it. When you have really negative, play it on. You'll see they go away. Also, ground your feelings. And how do you ground your feelings again? You say, like, I feel anxiety because for some reason I believe it serves me or is important, and it will hit the ground, and that will dissipate. And what stays around is what you need to work on. Like pop music. Everybody's out there. Bum, 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 bum. The vibe. They go, they're happy. Like, dun, dun, dun. Churches. Well, some of these churches get a little staunch with their belief, and you can see they got a vibe. So surround yourself in a vibe. Find your vibe. Like, go to groups that interest you. Find your vibe. It's so important. I need this advice as much as anybody. I need it as much as anybody. So, I think I pretty much hit everything I wanted to talk about. Not bad for not having anything, huh? I'm not going to talk about the beans I've seen because, really, I'm still digesting it. It's going to take me a bit to digest because these are a lot of different beans. The ones that are in our water, they've been down there. They're coming up a little bit more to let us know that they're there. Do not be afraid. They're very compassionate. They're not going to harm you. They really aren't. They might invade your space because, well, you're in their space. So people are like, oh, they're so rude coming in your space. Well, maybe you invaded their space. Our perception sometimes needs to be changed around. Well, I hope you have you did have a good Easter's, and I can't wait till y'all find out when he's coming. And I know it's hard to believe, but it's really helped me propel to make sure I'm healthy and stick around because I want to see him somewhere down the road. I want to be able to see him, so I'm going to be really old. I'm going to try my damnedest to stay alive. I really am. Much love to you. Please like and subscribe or whatever. I've never really been too much in that, but many blessings. Bye now.